Today we're going to be talking about the 7 questions all new traders should be asking, but maybe don't know how to. Hey everyone, be sure to like, subscribe, share, and ring that bell to be notified as soon as we drop a new video. Would love to share as much information with you as possible. So that being said, I'm lead trainer with StocksToTrade, Tim Bohen. Today I've got 7 questions that I think are, a little unconventional. It's nice. We do a lot of Q&A on the channel. We do it on the podcast and stuff, but you get a lot of repeat questions, which is great. I mean, listen, when you're getting started out, I don't care what you're getting started doing, whether it's coding or handyman stuff or trading or web design. Ultimately you're going to have a lot of the same questions. So we answer those a lot on the channel. But what I did was put together a list of 7 questions that I think you should be asking that I don't really get asked that much. So that being said, let's get started in it. Right off the bat, are there benefits to using a discount broker, or AKA a free broker? I think, and listen, I know Robinhood gets bashed a lot, and there's pros and cons to the free brokers. I mean, many of you know we had that debacle with the meme stonks when, GameStop was going wild and Robinhood locked trading and they don't allow trading of OTCs and pre-market and after hours. And listen, there's definitely drawbacks to free brokers, but I love them for new traders because at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is learn the mechanics, okay? If you're in the Steady Trade team, which definitely check it out, what I'm trying to do is teach you concepts, methods, and a process to get, the big gains over time, okay? I think we all hear about this crazy high failure rate, and I think the failure rate is so high because people want, they want it now. I mean, listen, that's the culture we live in. Everyone wants results now. You want to lose 30 pounds in 30 days, or make a million in 30 days. But I think, ultimately you can't get to those goals. You can't bench 300 before you bench 90. Okay. You got to build up to it, and you got to build up your base with good habits, good discipline, and, good processes. And at the end of the day, if you're making the good decisions, and you're trading well with a small account, your commissions can just eat you up. And it's just such an impediment to progress, and it can be discouraging. I mean, I see a lot of people, they think they're doing really well, and they get to the end of the month and they look at their fees and their data fee, all these other fees that get built into commissions, and all of a sudden it's kind of disheartening because you thought you were doing way better. So I love discount brokers. I say use them and focus on percent gains, okay? Focus on making good trades and not getting rich today. That comes down the road. Take advantage of not burning through all those commissions and use a discount broker, in my opinion. So next thing is, what free resources are there that I should be taking advantage of? Got a ton, okay? Number 1, you're on the YouTube, subscribe, okay? We do so much here on the YouTube channel, podcasts, long podcasts, short podcasts. I do pre-market prep live every morning. We've got these tip videos. Bryce is doing the Steady Trade treats, kind of fun educational videos. So take advantage of our YouTube. Head over to the StocksToTrade blog. Okay, I know blogs are kind of almost seems like a thing to the past, but I think there's a great advantage to spending that time to read longer form educational things. I mean, it's like, I know we live in a world of tweets, 280 characters, but to really understand stuff, you gotta get in deeper. And the blog is, these are typically, multi-page, in-depth articles. Check that out. Speaking of the podcast, you can go to SteadyTrade.com or your iTunes app or Android app, and you can subscribe to the podcast. Great thing for that commute, or when you're on the treadmill or you're going for a run, that it's an audio podcast. So, especially maybe you're out doing yard work or whatever. So check out the Steady Trade podcast. And then the other one I mentioned is pre-market prep. I know I talk about it a lot, but the nice thing, it's on Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's on YouTube, and it's on Twitter, and it's archived, it's saved every morning, 8:30 Eastern. That's, I think, one of the best things about it is it's real time. So check out those resources. Next is, when should I sell? Oh, this is a great question because so many people struggle with greed, okay? When you're trading these fast-moving stocks, it's very easy to have unrealistic expectations, okay? So you buy a $1 stock at $1.50 and all of a sudden it's at $2.50 and all of a sudden it's at $3 and you're thinking $5, $10, $100. I mean, I've got AMC on my screen right now. This meme stock is still in play. And listen, I love the meme stocks, okay? I think these are all going higher, but there's a lot of people that are saying like $1,000 a share for AMC, okay? That's never going to happen, okay? So you got to have realistic expectations, and you got to have a 3-to-1 risk to reward goal based on the chart, okay? This is something we go over constantly in the Steady Trade team. And so, it's kind of I hate to say it's an advanced concept because it's not like it's, rocket surgery, as they say, but, it's a pretty simple concept, but it does take some time to explain. What we do is we look at the chart, support and resistance levels based on technical analysis. We determine our risk, and then we have a goal that is 3-to-1 inverse related to our risk, okay? So what that means is if you're buying that fast mover, say that dollar stock that went to 125 and you're risking $1, you're risking 25 cents a share in this scenario, your goal would be $2. Your goal would be 75 cents a share, which is 3 times what you're willing to risk on this trade. So what that does is, even when that stock spikes to 2, spikes to 250, spikes to 3, and then crashes back to 1, you're not bag holding all the way back to 1 or all the way back to 90 cents. You're taking realistic expectations, you're taking realistic goals because you know what penny stocks are, okay? So when to sell is based on your goal, which is built in to your trade plan before you enter, okay? Again, I'm keeping it quick. Check out the Steady Trade team. We go into, we spend hours on risk to reward, trade plans, entries, and exits. Next is, what type of investments should I make? A lot of people ask this because so many confuse penny stock trading and investing. Okay, so it's kind of funny. Here I am, 15 years actively day trading. I manage my own money. I teach, I YouTube, I do podcasts, and I don't hold any stocks long term. So that confuses a lot of people a lot because, listen, if you've been in the penny stock game for 15 years, you don't believe in anything. I mean, listen, I should say I believe in Apple and Amazon, but there's like 4 stocks I believe in. And other than that, I don't trust any of them. So don't confuse trading, momentum trading, trading price action, trading volume, trading chart patterns with investing. Okay. So never, ever, 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 ever invest in a penny stock. It will end badly. Okay. So understand the delineation. And that's why I put this question on here. Now, back to the question, what do I invest my longer term profits in? Real estate. You look at the explosion of the real estate market. I've been dabbling in this for a decade, actually probably more than a decade. And they're not making any more land. Again, look at the real estate market this summer, the summer of 2021, even back into 2020. And ultimately, I think that's one of the best ways to take your take your penny stock trading profits, trading these scams and these jokes of a company, take those profits, plow them into real estate or a business. Again, I've got several side businesses. I sold a business that I founded, a few years back. But keep your long-term profits and your long-term investments out of penny stocks. That's not what penny stocks are for. Next question is, do I have time to trade? And listen, all of us are busy. Many of us, I think back to when I got started trading, I had babies. I had toddlers back then. Again, I had a full-time business, 10,000 customers, 20, 25 employees at the time. Business is growing. I mean, I had a couple side businesses. I mean, I had a lot going on. But at the end of the day, listen, if you really want it, if you really care, if you were really passionate about it, you will find the time, okay? And might not be the answer you want. This is what I did, okay? Again, what I did, I had babies, okay? So this is when I started getting up at 5 a.m. back then. This is 2006, 2007, because I'm like, I want to learn this. Okay? I want to learn this niche. And, kids, you usually wouldn't get up till 8, 9 o'clock. I'd help the wife kind of get them around, and then I'd go off to the office. And then, you get home, you have the family time, relax with the wife, you have your social life, and then it's the end of the day. So I'm like, the only way, I'm not going to take time away from my family. I'm not going to take time away from my growing business. I can't do that. I gotta, ultimately I gotta take care of the family. That's always job number one. And how do I take care of the family? I grow this business, make it profitable so that I can take care of my family. But I'm like, you know what? I'm so interested. I've had a lifelong interest in finance. What I'm going to do? Less sleep, baby. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. and I'm going to study chart patterns and I'm going to review the past day. I'm going to read books and I'm going to make it work. Now, maybe for you, that's at midnight. I've never been much of a night owl, but you will and you can find the time, okay? Quit watching TV. Get off of social media. Listen, I don't want you to, hate your life, but you don't need to go out on the weekends, okay? You don't need to. You want to. And maybe you don't go out on weekends for a few months or even a few years. I mean, if it's worth it to you, you'll find the time. Then you develop a system, you get profitable over time, then you can go back out again, and then you can watch, TV again. But you can find the time. And I know I'm a little bit of a taskmaster when it comes to that, but here's the thing. If you can't manipulate your schedule. Now listen, if you're working 3 jobs and you got 3 kids, you're the exception, okay? But most of us can carve out that 2 to 3 hours a day to get it done. So do you have time to trade? I think you do. Unless like I said, if you're working 2 jobs and you got a 2-hour commute and again, you're a single parent and you're taking night school, okay, you need to, wait till you're done with night school. Wait till the kids get a little older. But the 99% of the rest of you can find the time. Next is, how much money do I need to start trading with? Listen, going back to what I said earlier about the discount broker, you don't need much, okay? Because what I want you doing is, again, I want you learning a process. I want you learning how the chart patterns work. I want you in trades. I want you getting that experience. So ultimately, listen, $500, $1,000. Now, understand, you're not going to make, quote unquote, real money with a $500 or $1,000 account. I mean, it's just, listen, you can make $100 here, $100 there, but you're not buying the Lambo with a $500 account. But what you can do is trade 1 share of some crazy volatile stock, 10 shares, okay? Let's say you trade 10 shares of some crazy volatile stock and you make 50% and you make $50, okay? $50 isn't changing your life, okay? These days you can barely get 2 cups of coffee for $50, okay? The point is, what you're trying to do is get your feet wet, get the experience, and get that, and work through all these issues. Maybe you take a big loss and you lose a couple $100. I mean, I'd rather see you lose half of a $500 account than see you lose half of a $5,000 account or a $50,000 account. So at the end of the day, I think 500 or 1,000 is totally reasonable to learn trading. But I'm going to repeat it again because I know we're on YouTube and 99% of YouTube is, turn $100 into $100 million in 100 days. Man, I bet you if you search for that, you'll get like 6 million matches. $100 into $100 million in 100 days. No, you're not. It's not going to happen. Okay. But you can take a $500 account and build it up to 750, build it up to 1,000. 6 months down the road, things are clicking. Maybe you add a little bit more money, then you start trading for real. Last thing I want to wrap up with is fundamentals, okay? And a lot of people want to know fundamental analysis and how to dig deep into like what the company is, what they're doing, look into the filings and, and channel checks and, look at the business model. And I hopefully have something that I think you'll like. Listen, one of the greatest things about penny stocks is they're all scams, okay? So what's great about what we do with fundamental analysis of penny stocks, and when I say fundamental analysis, we're looking at, sales, how good's the product, the executive team, profitability, etc. So really the biggest thing we're looking at, and it's built into StocksToTrade, is we're just looking at mostly sales and profits, okay? At the end of the day, those are about the only two fundamental things we look for. Now, I told you earlier in the video, we never trust penny stocks. Now, they can be swing traded, okay? You can hold these multi-day. They're never investments. But what's going to delineate the difference between a penny stock or a low price stock that we might swing trade versus one that we only day trade? Sales and ultimately profits. And you can see ELF. This was a recent runner. I kind of got into a debate. I'm usually, it's about once a year I trip up and get into a debate with a penny stock true believer on social media. I tripped up the other day. Again, this stock, some sketchy, they make some weird tablet that goes in the back of an Uber. And I'm like, man, this company's a joke. And this guy's coming at me about how the stock's going to 100. And I'm like, anyway, my point back to him was, listen, you have a company with, my friend, 0 in sales, okay, 0 revenue, and they lost $3 million this year, okay? This is a recent issue. So 0 sales, bleeding cash, and you're trying to tell me this thing's going to 100 because Uber is Uber is experimenting with like 1,000 of their tablets. They probably aren't even paying this company for those tablets. They're probably like, hey, you loan them to us. If we like them, then we'll buy them. So that is the biggest thing we're looking at. And I know that may seem oversimplified, but that's the great thing about penny stocks is you're just looking for simple things that, can relate to the viability of this company. Now, listen, if ELF had 100 million in sales and 150 million or 100 million in sales and 50 million in profits, a 50% profit margin, I'd be like, hey, buddy, you got something here. Maybe this is a multi-day hold. But don't fall for the trap of the speculative thing. And I don't care if the stock is up 100%. Guess what? Tomorrow it's going to be down 50%. Day after that it's going to be down 25%. And the week after that it's going to be back to 350 where it came from. So don't fall into the fundamental analysis trap with penny stocks, sales, profits, and if they got cool technology. Listen, if you got something way cooler than an advertising tablet that goes in the back of the Uber, maybe I'll give you something. You got some amazing battery technology for an EV, or you got some amazing cryptocurrency technology, maybe. But sales and profits. It's all that matters at the end of the day. Because if there's no profits, eventually the stock's going to come crashing to earth. So, all right, everyone, let me know in the comments below. Had you thought of these 7 questions, or did I do pretty good with kind of finding some kind of niche off-the-wall ones? Obviously, I'm a little biased. I picked out the questions myself, but I think these are all very pertinent. And I tell you, other than like the free broker question, the other 6, I don't know if I ever get asked about. And the free broker one, I only get asked every now and then. So always trying to find new and better information for you. That being said, definitely check out Pre-Market Prep live here on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And as always, check out the Steady Trade team. Would love to work with you twice a day, every single day, live, small group, best way to learn trading. Have a good day, and we'll see you next time.